Most alien species thought their World Razor class, Voidrend class, and similarly named ships had intimidating names until they came across a human fuck everything in that general direction class ship. Admiral Hanji stood on the bridge of the Brojand flagship. Next to him was the Brojand ambassador and the leader of the Brojand armada. The three faced the huge view screen of the flagship. On it, floating in space, lit by the very orange light of its ancient star, was a dead, crater-pocked planet. "Our new class of ship is ready to demonstrate its capability," announced the Admiral, not taking his eyes from the screen. "You may proceed," answered the Brojand leader, also not taking their eyes off the view in front of them. The Brojand ambassador did take their eyes off the screen, first glancing at the grim visage of the Admiral when they spoke, then turning and taking in the even more grim visage of the Brojand leader when they gave their permission. The Brojand ambassador then turned back in time to see a less than impressive small ship appear on the screen. As the three watched, almost immediately it was joined by thousands of other small ships of the exact same design as they took their positions around the dead rock. As the last ship appeared in its spot, the first ship fired a volley of its armaments at the slowly rotating planet and disappeared from view. Each ship in order performed the same maneuver, disappearing in turn until only the last ship hung in space facing a well-pulverized debris field that used to be the ancient planet. The three stood silently until the ambassador spoke. "Why so many ships?" The Admiral turned toward the ambassador, his face no longer grim, but which held a just as unsettling wide grin. "You ask the wrong question, Ambassador. The better question would be, why just one ship?" Before the ambassador could respond, he continued. "We didn't designate our new class of ship as temporal vessels for nothing. Only one ship entered this system. Only one ship fired on that target. Only one ship remains to witness its handiwork." The Brojand ambassador tried to lay one of their appendages on the arm of the leader of the Brojand armada in order to prevent themselves crumbling to the floor as they felt their support appendages go weak. Failing to succeed, they turned to the leader only to find them already having fallen over and curled into themselves, a sign of having suffered severe distress. The ambassador, still fighting the same urge to curl into a fetal ball, turned back to the Admiral, who, glancing over at the Brojand leader, asked, their voice barely hiding their amusement, "Was it something I said?" Most alien species thought their World Razor class, Voidrend class, and similarly named ships had intimidating names until they came across a human fuck everything in that general direction class ship. This was to be the Federation's first combat engagement. Every single one of the 13 member species are giving 100% of their fleets to the cause. Well, almost everyone. Humanity, with the largest fleet of all, was given permission to, for some stupid reason, only send 15% of their fleet power. One ship per fleet currently going up against the swarm. To say any humans serving aboard another Memebees ship were being harassed for their people cowardice, greed, and slothful nature would be an understatement. I sat aboard my bridge, flaring at the back of my first mate's head, letting him know exacting what I now think of his species. "Coming out of FTL now, Captain." "Get the screen showing what we are looking at." The 360-degree screen came to life, showing every fleet in our formation and the near unending wall of swarm ships before us. "All right, what the fuck is the human ship doing?" My first mate spoke up. "Getting friendlies out of the line of fire, ma'am." "What do you—" The ship bloomed. Like a flower, almost hundreds of petals opened up slowly as the ship reached the front of the pack. Our interconnected comms let me hear what was happening on that bridge. "Sir, the enemy is that direction." "Good, delete that direction." And the ship opened fire. All we could see was the enemy fleet violently explode into ash and dust before the human ship's bloom closed again. What?" My first mate had walked all the way to me, and his head was nearly resting on my shoulder with a shit-eating grin spread from ear to ear. "Lasers! If you can see it, you're dead. This isn't even one of our more impressive ships, really. Why didn't you tell me about this?" "You didn't ask." The captain of the human vessel requested permission to move further into swarm territory, and upon receiving news that the other 32 battles had already been won, our fleet received orders to advance. My first mate sat down. A look of pride beeped across his face. I couldn't help but collapse into my seat. He decided to goad me a little bit. "Well, honey, did you like the light show?" My commander sniggered at his comment. "My love, please go back to our cabin. You aren't actually supposed to be on the bridge." "But what if we get boarded? How can you possibly command the ship if you beloved Snuggum—" "Out!" He left the bridge with the same grin on his face, and my crew tried not to laugh as we began to near our next target.